Hi there, lovely people. Good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and happy weekend to every single member out there. Hopefully, you're doing good, you're in good health, and you are staying safe. Okay, so today we have a few fragrance reviews. I have done one already for ladies' side, and second fragrance I'm doing from House of Aramis. Finally, I pulled the trigger. I thought I was not gonna buy it, but then I changed my mind. Today we'll be talking about Aramis Devin. Okay, this is a man's man house. When I say that, I don't mean to don't feel offended that there's nothing for the ladies, not like that. But some fragrances, without political correctness, some fragrance smells so just for men. Men are supposed to wear it and they're supposed to smell very masculine and stuff. There's nothing wrong saying that. If you're a lady, if you like wearing kuros, more power to you. But this house, I feel, is a very classy house. What I really like about Aramis is that I bought recent times the Aramis Tobacco Reserve. I bought it back. I used to have it before. So I have this growing love for these powerhouses. As my nose getting more mature, I'm liking these powerhouses more and more. So powerhouse fragrance, basically what they do is, in general, consensus are they give like Bogart, Aramis, some of the houses they make powerhouses, very nominal price range, very affordable price tag, and the fragrances last a long time. They have fragrance notes like oak moss, leather, tobacco, pipe tobacco, lavender, fougere, barbershop, this kind of things, and very particular genre, and very particular crowd. People love this kind of fragrance, classy fragrances. So a little bit maybe mature grown-up men, this house is for them. So this fragrance, for perhaps first of all, I wanted to collect the whole line. I liked Aramis for men. I had the special blend. That's one, I think, special blend. Yeah, Tobacco Reserve. I did quite a few Aramis fragrances, but I had like Aramis Havana under my radar. I'm perhaps gonna get that next, and then D900 or 900 just simply. So these fragrances are very interesting. When you try them at first, if you're not into powerhouses, you feel like, nah, this is just not wearable. This is too dated. I did a fragrance review yesterday. Check that out. I think, gray flannel retake, and I told the story of how I disliked that perfume, really didn't like it, and now how much I enjoy that. Okay, so things change, taste change, people change. So after a long intro, let's review this. So this fragrance comes in 100 ml size, EDT concentration. I don't know if this line is discontinued, but I hear this whole collection is a bit rare to find. So these are the older fragrances perhaps, but these are not the older first formulation. I think these are some 70s 80s fragrances, I don't remember, but these are more modern take on them. So vintage, if you find, great, but some people say vintages are very, very unwearable. So the modern ones they make, they are more wearable. You can relate somehow as a vintage yet classic. So that's how that looks. It looks very, very vintage classic, like something CK Obsession house, CK Obsession line would give you classic. Okay, Aramis. Okay, so funny thing is, back in the days when I was not a frag head or I was not into fragrances reviews that much, I thought Aramis and Armani are the same house. So anyway, that's just a funny thing. But here's the bottle. I really love their bottles. I did Tuscany Parumo. I'll admit to you, these bottles really caught my eye. I really have a thing for nice bottles, juice color. They attract me like goldfish. So this bottle is so beautiful. Look at the orange juice color. Look at it, looks like a whiskey bottle from the West, isn't it? Like cowboys would drink up, in a bar, or they're sitting on the, I don't know, desert or somewhere next to their horse and stuff, and they're having like good old whiskey, strong stuff, and then this tobacco. They're just, they're just holding that a big cigar and they're smoking. It reminds me of those things. It looks really vintage. I love the sticker, classy sticker. The bottle looks simplistic, not much heaviness to it at the base, but I think very well done. And the cap reminds me of Polo fragrances a little bit, but I'm not saying they copy or anything. This is very light, chrome touch, but plastic. Atomizer looks like something, I think maybe Godfather or, Goodfellas, fragrances like movie characters would wear, that time's fragrance. Okay, so I have it on the paper. I'm sorry if I talk a little bit more because I'm a bit excited to review this. I'll tell you a few good things about this fragrance. Okay, sprayer is okay. I just went a little bit more. This fragrance, at first it may seem like those are a bit too much sprays, but I think if you go 6-7 sprays, this fragrance is right for that, because this fragrance longevity, it's not the beast mode like some of the other ones. Okay, this fragrance lasts on my skin on average 4 to 5 hours. That's like longevity. Projection is like good for 1 hour, then it comes close to skin. So for a powerhouse, do not always feel like powerhouse will last you like 20 hours like Kuros or Ted Lapidus, some of those fragrances. Some fragrances last moderate, but the smell, That's what makes them powerhouse classic. This is a classic powerhouse, you know. And I will not say this is like a powerhouse, like very rugged, like Kuros. This feels like Kuros suited up, you know, like those genre. Oh man, I really enjoy the opening. It has a little bit of greenness to it, bitter greenness to it. It has a kind of like a galbanum, aldehydic property. So it's kind of like a fresh, citrusy, so many things happening. This is like herbal green. And I don't know if what note is that, eucalyptus or something, I don't know. But this fragrance eventually, it will change, you know, and then it will settle down very smooth, polished, wearable, almost like to the point of neroli, little bit of leather, but every single note is so gentlemanly, classic. Like think of a typical English gentleman who wear fragrances like Canon. I think there's a Canon, or how to say, I don't know. So those middle-aged men, you know, really well dressed. If you like fragrance like Sartorial by Penhaligon's, same guy would be wearing this with a lot of confidence and happiness, you know. Look at me, I'm happy. And I absolutely felt at first I was not going to buy it, because it's like, you know, I have many fragrances like it, you know, like powerhouses, but I couldn't, you know, every single fragrance have their own character, you know, they have their own beauty, own thing going. So is this one is a quite little character, you know. I think of this one as a Babyface, you know, like that was the gangster name, like Babyface. You guys know what I'm talking about. So that Johnny Depp movie, you know. So one of those gangsters with like a nice Tommy gun and stuff. This guy would be wearing this fragrance, you know. That guy would be wearing this fragrance. Really, if you are already into gents fragrances, you really enjoy this a lot. Almost feels like a nice warm coat, cold day, like a fall. Just imagine, you know, like those classic cities, you know, like London. It reminds me of London a little bit. I saw a classic review on this. Someone said, he said, this fragrance will not be the most entertaining, but it will be the most classiest, you know, it wears classy. So I got this because from time to time, I like to enjoy fragrances for myself. Perhaps this will not pick you up compliments like regular basis. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, wow, you smell nice. No, perhaps you don't have that effect. But particular crowd, you know, gentlemanly crowd where you're going to have like a nice, mature conversation. You're just sitting there, serious conversation about life, you know, how it's going. And then, you know, old friends when you meet at 40s. This fragrance is just the right fragrance for you. You just take a walk when it's like a mild damp day, like a cold day, you know, like a gloomy day. This fragrance feels so good. If this house, you know, this fragrance, not just this, any of this fragrance of Aramis was done by a niche house or something like YSL, Opium Purum. People love that, you know, because it's YSL. People love Kuros, it's YSL. It's a prestigious brand. But when people hear Aramis, they go like, no, bro, Aramis house, yeah, I like them, but Bogart, Aramis, these houses are like too synthetic and they're too loud. You know, I just don't, you know, like it. But when I actually tried many fragrances, right? On most part, YSL Opium Purum, YSL Purum, these fragrances feel supper with not just Dior and Chanel, but they feel like similar to Aramis house. Maybe perhaps that bit synthetic, maybe the longevity is not as good as those, but you know, this fragrance, the prices on these are very, very affordable, well under 35, you know, like $30 you can score this. Many countries you can score this under $20 in USA, I guess. If you look for discounted sites or a vintage shop, you'll find it. Really, really amazing. Let me just put one on my skin because I took a shower, I'm not wearing anything. Just gonna tell you what I get on my skin. The paper is there, but always try a fragrance on your skin. When I tried, you know, for the first time, I was like really like, wow, what a bold opening statement. It's like the big orange, you know, it's like literally this color of the juice, kind of like a boozy orange, masculine, you know, leather sit right on your face, hand. It will have like nice little oil. But this one, I was like, okay, let me see the dry down. Dry down went a little bit like that Kuros, Givenchy, you know, gentleman, those territory. But as I told you, every single fragrance has the character. I think this one, if you, let me give you a scenario. If you're a single father, you're 30 something, 40 something, and you just like, you know, got divorced for a while, you have been single, you've been trying to date, you can go with L'Année de l'Homme like fragrances, but they will feel like a little bit younger guys fragrance. You can try to be entertaining, you can try to be a little bit phony, you can try to show that you have that young kid at your heart. But if you're not really that, if you're a really serious man and you're a really responsible man, you know, I'm just telling stories, you know. If you feel like, you know, you are like a good person, you know, but you want to act your age, you know, 35, 40s, but you want to meet a woman, you want to give a good first impression. This is such a gentlemanly fragrance. It will not scare away women, like let's say someone you want to meet at your own age, of your own age, this fragrance will be so perfect. You know, you can have a conversation, you can read a book with this, you can go to the library. It's a very noble fragrance. Okay, it's a gentlemanly house. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's not a show off fragrance. It's not a fragrance that you wear in the club to get someone, you know, like one night stand. No, these are the classic times of fragrances. These are pre-era of sweet fragrances, you know. These are the times when Scarface were made, Carlitos was made, you know, all those great films that are untouchables, you know. I love those films. This reminds me of all those, you know. This reminds me, for some reason, Godfather poster behind this, like some tragedies, a lot of whackings. The guys are wearing like a really classy overcoats and just like those big cars, vintage cars, and just come out with Tommy gun like, you know. So kind of like that, right? But it's a nice little perfume. So after a long talk, this fragrance I had to get for the vintage feel. Feels so good. You can buy those, like those miniature collections. They have like 5, 6, 10 sometimes, you know, in a single box, the miniatures of 10 ml or so. You can get those, so you can try different fragrances. I really like it. It's a try it, and over the time understanding it. Perhaps if you like it, you can commit to a full bottle. But even if you buy this by mistake, you will not break your bank. That's the best part about it. It does smell like a father figure, I will not lie, but that galbanum aldehyde is kind of like a refreshing, at the same time a little bit darkness, some greenness, and that Italian cypress people compare with Tom Ford. There's a vibe of that in this, but it's not a straight up clone, right? So overall, these fragrances, I cannot rate them because they're such classics. They are way before my time, but I think I have massive respect for this perfume. Okay, Guerlain and this house for me are the same prestige, right? So let's just leave it at that. And now let me do a list. Thanks for watching. Hopefully the review could inspire some people to look into this house. That is the whole goal. Have a nice day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.